Hi, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite stuffing recipe. When it comes to stuffing, I like it crispy, juicy, and as healthy as possible. Sadly, I haven't been able to find a recipe that met all of those qualities, so I decided to make my own. And I think it came out tasting great. If you stay with me till the end of this video, you won't be disappointed. Let's get started. For your main ingredients, you will need 85/15 organic grass-fed ground beef, your choice of broth. I decided to go with chicken broth because I already had some on hand. 1/4 cup of half and half, 1/4 cup of frozen corn, 2 to 3 sticks of diced celery, 5 to 6 slices of sourdough bread chopped up, 3 diced green onions, 1 diced clove of garlic, olive oil, and 1 to 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. The seasonings I chose to go with are garlic powder, sea salt, black pepper, umami mushroom powder, and chicken base. Now that I have all my ingredients ready, I'm going to heat up my pan and add some olive oil. Next, I add my garlic in and stir it around a bit. Now we're ready to put our meat in. I like this ground beef especially because it comes very finely ground, so I don't get a lot of large chunks when I break it up. It's also grass-fed and has a higher fat content that gives it a really great taste. When the meat is still somewhat raw, I like to add a bit of salt and stir it in as I continue to break up and cook the meat. At this point, the meat is usually pretty well broken up and starting to release a lot of liquid. We can now begin adding the rest of the seasonings. I start with the chicken base. Then I add some umami powder. Then I add in the garlic powder. Now that our meat is nice and seasoned and starting to dry up a little bit, let's add in the green onions, corn, and celery to bring a little moisture back. Make sure to stir it well so that everything mixes nicely. This is also a good time to add in more seasoning if you feel it needs any. We can now take our mixture and put it aside for later. In the same pan, add around 1 tablespoon of butter and lightly brown it. Next, add in 1/4 cup of half and half and stir it into the butter. While I'm stirring, I like to make sure I scrape up all of that flavor left over. As you're doing this, slowly add in the chicken broth a little bit at a time until you have used it all up. We can now begin to prepare our oven bakeware by rubbing a bit of butter around the inside. The butter creates a bit of crispiness around the edges that gives the meal a nice texture when eating. In this next step, we will be mixing everything we've made so far. If the mixture is feeling dry, try adding in more of the broth. If it's feeling too wet, then you could add more sourdough bread. You want everything to be nice and moist, but you don't want a puddle of liquid at the bottom. Once it is to your liking, pour it into the bakeware we buttered up and wrap it with foil. With your oven preheated to 350 degrees, place your stuffing in for 40 minutes with the foil on. After the timer has expired, take off the foil and put it back in until the top layer becomes crispy. For me, this took about 3 minutes in the broil setting and an additional 5 minutes without the broil setting. Just keep an eye on it and you should be fine. Once the top layer is nice and crispy, take the stuffing out of the oven and your job is finished. The crunchy bits from the top are just so good mixed in with the moist bottom. I hope you enjoyed making this recipe with me. Let me know down in the comments how yours turned out. If you liked the video, please subscribe and I'll see you on the next one.